Hi Sumit, if you like to learn how to make this stylish built-up collar dress with Queen in neckline, then this video is for you. My name is Veronica Adams Eze. Welcome to Vera Adams YouTube channel. So without wasting much time, let's get started. Here's the pattern paper I'll be working on, and I'm starting first with the front bodice. I've gone ahead to mark the starting line, and from the starting line I marked 10 inches, which serve as the bust line, 13 inches the under bust line, 16 inches the waistline, 24 inches the hip line, and what we have as the full length is 35.5 inches. Please note that this pattern paper is on fold, and right from the bust line I'll be going up by 2 inches, and I'll make a mark there that will serve as the chest line, and I'll draw a straight line to indicate that. On the shoulder line I'll go ahead to mark the back measurement, which is 15 inches divided by 2, that's 7.5 inches. I'll also mark the same on the chest line, and I'll connect these 2 points together. Then I'll go ahead to mark 3 inches for the neck width, come down by 1 inch for the slope, and connect together as so. From the chest line, I'll go ahead to take a quarter of the bust band measurement, which is 36 inches divided by 4, that's 9 inches. And I made a mark right there. To get the armhole curve, I'm dividing what I have on the armhole line into 2, and I make the mark there and connect it right. Moving on to the waistline, I'm going to go ahead to take a quarter of the waist measurement right here, and I'll also add 1.5 inches for that. And I'll also go ahead to take the nipple to nipple measurement on the waistline, on the under bust line, and also on the bust line, and connect together so. Right here I'm going to go ahead to mark 0.75 inches on both sides. That will give me a total of 1.5 inches, which equates to the 1.5 inches that we added to the waist measurement. Next thing to do right here is to determine the depth of the neckline. I marked 6.5 inches here, but I eventually used 7 inches and drew a straight line right there. On this new line, I'm going to also go ahead to mark the nipple to nipple measurement and connect it as so. I'll also go ahead to mark 0.75 inches on both sides, making 1.5 inches in total. Coming up by 1 inch from the bust line, I'm going to connect together as you are seeing me doing right here. Now I can go ahead to connect the measurements together. Moving downwards, I'm going to go ahead to mark a quarter of the hip measurement, and I'll also do the same on the hem line. It was at this point that I realized that I didn't leave some spaces at the top of the pattern paper, so I've gone ahead to attach a fresh paper on top. So I'm going right here to mark 2 inches right above the starting line, which is the shoulder line. But before I continue, I'm going down on the hip line, and I've gone ahead to mark 4 inches, which represents nipple to nipple, and I'm connecting it right to the waistline. And from the hip line, I came up by 2 inches, and I'm connecting to meet the waistline, just as you're seeing me doing. Once this is done, I'm moving to the waistline, and from the waistline I'm marking 2 inches above it, and I'll connect together, and this will serve as the waistband as seen in the inspiration. Since we're working on a sleeveless dress, I'm going to go ahead to take 0.75 inches away from the armhole, just as you're seeing me doing right here, and I'll connect it together. So right here we have a new armhole line. Back at the top of the pattern paper, remember that we came up by 2 inches from the shoulder line. I've also gone ahead to mark the neck width, which is 3 inches right there. And from that point, I'm going to go ahead to connect it right into the shoulder slope. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to move over to the new neck depth, and I'm going to mark 1/2 inch away from the center. From that line, I'm going to go down by 1.5 inches and make a mark, and then I'll connect these 2 points together, just as you're seeing me doing. But because what we have on the inspiration is a bit curved, I've gone ahead to curve inwards that part. The next thing to do right now is to make the Queen A neckline effect. But before I do that, I realized that I do not want the built up collar to be so high, so I decided to go down by half inch. That means I decided to make it just 1.5 inches above the shoulder line. So I'm going to correct that, just the same thing. The only thing is that I reduced the height of the built up collar. I'm sorry, I didn't know my camera wasn't running while I was doing the Queen Anne neckline design. So let me just explain what I did here. Remember that I took 1.5 inches above the shoulder line, and I also went ahead to mark the neck with 3 inches right there. So from that point, I connected right into the shoulder slope. So I came down on the neck depth line at the side of the armhole, and I measured 1 2/4 right there. That's 1.25 inches, and from that point I connected upwards. At this point, I can go ahead to start cutting out. If you didn't totally understand how we made the built up collar effect here on the front bodice, don't worry, I'll go ahead to explain it again in the back bodice. So while cutting this out, I realized I made a mistake by cutting it all through. I wasn't supposed to do that. So it was at this point that I realized my mistake. So I'd gone ahead to tape this edge back. So I've gone ahead to use my tape to hold that part down. So this was how I was supposed to go about it. I was supposed to start from the middle, then proceed upwards, just in the manner that I'm illustrating with my finger. Which is what I'm going ahead to do right now. Please watch this part again so that you don't end up making the same mistakes. Especially if you are cutting directly on your fabric, you don't want to make that kind of mistake. This brings us to the end of the cutting for the front body. So here's the back bodice. I've gone ahead to draft it out, and it is the same thing as the front, everything, just that it took 1/2 inch at the center to avoid zip bulging. So right here, I've already left some spaces at the top of the paper. So I'm going to go ahead to measure to see that we have 3 inches for the neck width. Then I'm going ahead to mark 1.5 inches for the height. Remember that we did 1.5 inches for the front also. So it's still the same thing you're going to do here. So right here, I'm going to go ahead to draw a straight line to indicate that height. For those that may have an issue drafting a back bodice, if you don't know how to do this, I have a detailed tutorial showing you step by step how to achieve this. So right at this point, I'm going to go ahead to connect it right into the shoulder slope, just in the manner that you're seeing me doing right here. And make sure that what you have on the back aligns with what you have on the front. And because the back of our neck is not straight, I'm going to go in by 0.25, and I'm going to curve it just in the manner that you're seeing me doing right here. Once this is done, we can also move ahead to cutting the back bodice out. So if this is your first time on this channel, I want to say welcome. I want to say thank you for stopping by. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, kindly click on the like button and do well to subscribe to this YouTube channel. At this point, if you want the waistband that we have on the front bodice also on the back bodice, you can go ahead to draft it out, but it is actually not necessary. At this point, you can go ahead to cut out the back slope, and here we have our back bodice. Also, we have our front bodice as well. I hope you really did find this video useful. If you did, click on the like button and do well to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Kindly share to friends and family that are also soulmates, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.